Hello, so welcome to this short video about expanding and factorising brackets. So say if if it came up in conversation at dinner, for example, that someone said expand 3 bracket x plus 2. If you wanted to know what to do in that situation, this is the place for you. All it means is that we take this number here, which is the one outside the bracket, in this case 3, we multiply it by each of the numbers inside the bracket. So this x is an algebraic symbol which could be any number, and then this is the number 2. If you're new to this, it might not be clear what order to perform these multiplications and additions in. It's the multiplications first, but if you really wanted to really make that very clear for yourself, and then we can see very clearly that this term here is considered separate from this one, that this is to be done first before the addition. These two are to be computed. And now 3 times x, we don't know x, so we just write that. In order to save ink or pixels in my case, we're just going to write 3x instead of 3 times x, and then instead of 3 times 2 we're just going to calculate 3 times 2, which is 6. So then that would be this. Alright, and then with that very same question, we could actually be asked to factorise that. This is just one of those great conversation starters that we should all know. Factorise means to find a common factor to both terms in that expression, and in this case, since we've already expanded out this expression here, it's no surprise that the common factor for this one is 3, because both 3x and 6 are divisible by 3. 3x divided by 3 is x, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. Alright, that's the solution to that one. So let's consider a couple more examples. Okay, so here's a new example. Factorise 16x plus 8. Well, we ask what's the common factor of these two terms, and in this case we can see there's several numbers that could be common factors. The first of which might be 2, because 16 is divisible by 2, and so is 8. But now let us consider the next common factor is 4, because 16 is divisible by 4, and 8 is divisible by 4. But we can still go one higher, and we can go to 8, because 16 is divisible by 8, giving 2, and 8 is divisible by 8, giving 1. So that would be it fully factorised. Okay, and now that we've found our common factor and factorised the expression, we might want to check that we got it right, and we can do this by expanding the bracket, similar to how we expanded this. So we'll try that. So we're just going to do the same process as we did up here. We're going to take 8, times it by 2x, 8 times by 1, and we should get the same expression that we first of all factorised. So we should be hoping to get this expression. So 8 times 2x plus 8 times 1, and now we'll evaluate it. And indeed, this does equal the expression that we initially factorised, so we can be confident that the factorisation we did was correct. Okay, so now there'll be another case where you might be asked to expand a bracket where there is an x or some other algebraic quantity. You might be asked something like this. So how would we do that? Well, we just carry out the exact same procedure. That is, we take x, we multiply it by this term, which is x. We take x, we multiply it by this term, and that will look like this. And now, as we've done up here, we will just write this more simply. Any number times itself is called the square, and we write that as a little 2 to the top right of the number. And again, we might be asked to factorise something containing an x term like that. So let us practice on one of those. Say for example we were asked to factorise 2x squared minus 4x. Well, in this case we might, remembering this example, we might try and factorise out the x as a common factor, because we can see that both terms contain x, so therefore we can divide both terms by x. And here we can see that we've pulled out the x here, but there's actually still another common factor, because there's a 2 here and a 4 here, so they both would have a common factor of 2, because 2 is divisible by 2, giving 1, and 4 is divisible by 2, giving 2. And then if we wanted to check that, we could do that by expanding the bracket. So let's take this times this, take away this times this, and then once again we will tidy this up. So 2x times x will be 2x squared, and 2x times 2 will be 4x. We can see that once we expanded the bracket, it did indeed equal the same as what we started with.